It's Tuesday. You know what that means. It's time for Ignition with the AEW Fan Hub podcast team. This is Kelson.
And this is Barry. We're going to be making a bit of a program change this week. Regular listeners to the podcast are familiar with our potpourri segment, which ends the show, which is kind of just a little show and tell of fun little things around the wrestling world and beyond that we want to share with each other. Well, in honor of the travesty of humanity that ended last week's show, we are going to be renaming the potpourri segment to It's a Kafabe, where
It's a
we will. It's a
kafabe.
kafabe, and we will, in honor of Mr. Kafabe himself, which you should see up on your screen right now, we will reimagine the potpourri segment into that and carry it forward in honor. So, Kelson, why don't you kick us off with the first topic for today?
The first topic for today is not Kafabe. Look, the Don Callis family is falling to pieces. At least the top three members of the Don Callis family are falling to pieces. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I wouldn't say
Uh,
falling to pieces, but they definitely ain't happy. You know, things are not looking good between them for sure.
they are a very
Room
combative
for
Italian
improvement.
family. Yeah,
Yes, there's
exactly.
room for improvement.
Yeah, Kyle Fletcher's pissed off at, well, Don Callis mostly, I think, for not handling the whole screwdriver. He got screwed by the screwdriver. Takeshita is pissed off at Okada. Okada just Kazuchika Okada. See, I got the name right this time. Is flipping off everybody still. He just doesn't like everybody. You know, who do you think is? I mean, we all. I think it's safe to say, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's safe to say that every one of us assumed that it was going to be Takeshita that kind of was the catalyst of leaving the Don Callis family and turning face.
Yep.
But I think last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, I made a point to say Takeshita really hasn't done anything face. He hasn't done anything babyface. He's still a cad. He just doesn't get along with the other cads.
But that said, remember we said he didn't hasn't really done anything overly heelish either.
I guess you could look at it that way.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
he's closer to, I would say, having a hangman-esque kind of deal where he's not a bad guy, but he will do bad things and he will mess the mofos up. But like he's not a cowardly heel. He doesn't cheat like Okada, like
Hmm.
Fletcher, like so many others in the Don Callis family.
He's not a
I think
bad guy. He's not a
I
good guy. He's the guy.
oh God. But like
I mean,
I think that's what sets Takeshi apart within the group. He doesn't
So,
do all the other bull crap that the other guys do.
Kelson, you had mentioned that he hasn't. What has he done to kind of start that turn? And I think that's a good point. From a storytelling standpoint, I think fans sometimes let the bookers know when they're ready to cheer for people. I think it's one of the reasons Moxley's a face. People are just ready to cheer for him again. And in Take's case, people have been ready to cheer for him for a while. They respect achievements. They understand the G1 being the New Japan champ matters.
and he's
It was
gorgeous.
yeah, and he's handsome. He's a handsome dude. I mean, AEW's got some handsome fellows and some good looking ladies on the roster for sure. And but my point is, so a couple weeks ago, I don't remember what the run in was for, but when he ran down initially, and I they made a note to have the camera behind him. He actually pulled some people off to say, "Okay, guys, okay, enough. The point's been made. We don't need to keep beating this person down." I
Ah,
cannot
yeah.
remember, but I specifically noted that. And that's on top of a couple other things where when there are beatdowns or there's been run-ins, he's been the last one to come in and hasn't really partaken. And to Chris's point, it's not that he's a or somebody said this. Just because he's a bad guy doesn't mean he's a bad guy, to steal a line from what was it, Wreck-It Ralph, I think. And I think that might be a case here. Like, yeah, he's in a heel stable, but he's not evil like some of them. And those seeds have been planted. So I'm interested to see how long or how much farther. Tony kind of tiptoes around this.
Really, what you just said kind of reminds me of something that actually Julia Hart said a few years ago on an episode of Dark. I mean, that's how long ago this was. She basically came out and said, why do people say that the House of Black is evil? We're not evil. We just enjoy violence. And then she went on further to say, and this is what correlates to what you just said, that good people can do bad things and bad people can do good things. It's all perspective. And it really does, relate to
Right.
professional wrestling too.
House
So,
of Black was the most unheelish heel group there ever was because she's absolutely right. They didn't do run-ins. They didn't cheat. She did the mist. That's about the extent of it. But they they were not really a true heel group.
right. I mean,
Well, I
but
mean,
in the House of Black, Julia Hart was the biggest asshole in the House of Black by
Yeah,
far.
she was the biggest heel for sure.
yeah, she had the mist, and the mist turned other people evil. So,
And it turned other people bad too. Yeah, she corrupted Sky Blue.
Well, it made them have to do a lot more eye makeup at least.
Yeah. So hey,
Uh,
coming back to this too, and I'm sorry, MK, did you have anything you wanted to add? I don't want to suck up all the oxygen here.
Nope, I don't.
Okay. All right. Well, good. I'm glad I checked on that.
that's why he's the best color man in the business.
Yes, that's why.
Di-
Okay.
Dynamite drop in, MK.
Top fly caught. So
Yeah.
I I one of the things that's really limited some professional wrestling storytelling is how they kind of do inter-organizational feuds. And what I mean by that is on a TV show, we love family dramas and the fun is seeing a dysfunctional family, right? But you need a pretty good sized family for that to work. If it's only three or four people, it gets boring really fast. The Callis family's big enough now that they've got enough with the actors, I guess, so to speak, that they can really flesh out this family dynamic. And between Take, Kyle, and now Okada, I didn't expect Kyle to be put into this like love triangle, so to speak, between the three of them. So he was interjected and has beef with Okada here. I'm really, really enjoying that there is not just like who's going to turn face or anything like that, but like actual conflict within a heel stable itself, fighting over who's going to be in, who's going to be out. And if you look at the Callis family as like a business, and that's kind of how Don always talks about it, Okada is actually the one messing up the business. Take's doing what he's supposed to do. Kyle's doing what he's supposed to do. Okada's being rogue. And if they want to
Yeah.
throw a real wrench in the plans, I'd love for them to kick out Okada and make him do everything by himself. And we'll see just how good he really is. Like, because turning Take or Fletcher eventually face, we all kind of see that coming. But like, I'd love to see Tony do something a little uh, different than how these storylines typically play out.
The difference with Okada and other heels is that Okada is like a lovable heel. In other words, he does the stuff that you hate in the ring, but he also does stuff that you just can't wait to see. I mean, it's hard to draw a parallel, but you know, I guess like Chris Jericho when he was even in his biggest heelish moments in WWF or WWE, you still couldn't wait to see what he was going to do because you knew it was going to be lighthearted and tongue in cheek, and people
Yeah,
would enjoy it. You know.
I mean,
But I think if you look at the entire family of the Don Callis family, I think we can all agree that Don Callis is the worst parent ever.
he's a terrible dad.
just the worst.
horrible.
Second only to Goku.
Oh
I don't know.
God.
I think I'd
But at
even
least
have to give.
Goku was
Sorry, I didn't
nice.
want to. No, forget I said that. I don't want to derail things. He's a terrible father. You're right,
Here's the
Kelsey.
deal. Goku's too dumb
That we're
to be
not
a good
talking about it. We're
father.
not talking about it, Chris. We're not. Kelsey.
Yeah, we don't want Chris going off on New Japan Pro Wrestling. No, bad
Well,
boy.
I didn't even say anything.
Yeah, I think Jess is correct. He's or whoever said he's a terrible father is correct.
Anyway, let's go ahead and move on because I'll tell you what.
Unless MK
Uh,
has anything he wants to add.
yeah, MK, do you have anything to add?
No, I think it's gonna be
Best
fun.
color man in the business.
I really best color man in the business.
Flyball
Yes.
caught.
Well, let him talk.
God,
Jeez.
Everybody, shut up.
Maybe I'll just mute then, huh? No, I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I don't know how I feel about Fletcher, not Fletcher, Fletcher being a face. Uh, that'll be interesting to see. But
He's months away though.
I
Months
know,
away.
I know Takeshka could do it. I'm bound to say that name right. He can do it. He has the ability, but Fletcher, I want to see grow a little bit and see how he could do. But overall, I don't see Callis really. Uh, I mean, he's a great guy, but Okada, I don't see him going out his own too because he's better with Callis.
Yeah, I mean, Okada and maybe even Takeshita, they do need, on American television at least, I think they need somebody like Callis to be by their side because I don't think they're 100% comfortable with the English language yet. And it's, a shame. I think when you look at Takeshita and Okada, I think the Callis family has been really good for them just for that reason.
I will say Okada's English is better than he presents it as,
Oh,
Yeah.
and
yeah, and
I
I
think
think
that
his
part of it.
understanding it of it is too.
Oh, for sure. But that goes to his character, the whole, oh no, I pressed the wrong button. I'm so
Sorry.
So
sorry,
Yeah.
I was thinking the
bitch.
other day too, when he if Callis kicks him out, I'd love to see a sad Okada couple weeks where like he's all on his own, everybody laughs at him, he's a loser or whatever. But he doesn't really need to change his character. Coming back to what you were saying, Kelson, he can just be the goofy like loser of the elite again and join back up with them. He could be the same Okada, do the same stupid dastardly stuff, but to your point, he's not really evil or a bad guy. He's just heel-ish, you know?
You
Yeah.
know who his character kind of reminds me of right now? Eddie Guerrero. That where he does,
That's a really good
he
yes.
does
Yeah,
these
I can
cheap,
see that.
heelish things, but people still kind of cheer
Just
for
like
him.
what Kelson was saying earlier, yeah.
Yeah, because
We we
he's so
we're looking
damn
forward to seeing
talented.
how he's going to cheat. We look forward to
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, innovative ways to get an A on your test. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I
anyway,
have
let's
I would
go
say
ahead, Jess.
I have one more little angle, if I may.
Go ahead.
What if this is the we're going on the assumption that Callus will eventually get sick of Okada. I see it differently. Like I see Okada as like the favorite child in the family who can do all sorts of heinous stuff and get away with it, and he knows it. Just
I
like
see that, and I feel that way too.
Yeah, I completely agree as well.
Yeah, he's definitely the favorite son, and Takeshita is the redheaded stepchild, and, and Kyle Fletcher is, say his whole name, Chris.
The protostar, Kyle Herbert Walker, Mountain Dew, Elizondo Fletcher.
He has middle child syndrome.
Exactly, he really does. That's a good point. But anyway, let us move on because I want to talk about Mercedes Monet has announced that she's going to be taking some time off from AEW. How long that's going to be? Probably not too long because Mercedes Monet is addicted, and I don't think she can. I don't think that Mercedes Monet physically can stay out of a wrestling ring for more than a month. I really don't. So I do expect her back by at the latest Double or Nothing in March. But
Yep,
here's the thing, though. When you're looking at the AEW women's division, you've got Willow Nightingale as the TBS champion and as one half of the women's tag team champions with Harley Cameron. And of course, you've got Chris Statlander as the women's world champion. With Mercedes Monet gone, do you feel that somebody needs to step up, or do they need to bring somebody in, or introduce a new major storyline? Because I just want to get you guys your opinions on this.
you know what I think. I really hope whatever's keeping Sheeta out of AEW gets resolved sooner rather than later because I really miss her and I think she'd be great to like fill that role while Mercedes is gone.
Yeah. Um,
I, I think in far in terms of heel stepping up, Tekla and Sisters of Sin have already kind of done that, and I think that'll be the story going forward for a little bit with those six because I see them winning the trios match on Wednesday. But one thing about Mercedes, gone from AEW doesn't mean gone from wrestling. Like
very good point.
she's still going to be. She's just not going to show up on AEW. She's going to show up everywhere else, everywhere that she holds a title. That's where she's going to go, and she's going to just leave the AEW fans who are unappreciative assholes behind because absence makes the heart grow fonder. So when she comes back at Revolution, because I think she's going to be, I think she'll stay gone for longer than a month from AEW because she'll have all that other work to
I think
do.
I said double or nothing. I don't know what I was thinking. It is Revolution.
Uh, yeah, yeah, I think that's when she comes back and, sets her sights on Statlander again. And I think it would be probably about right because what Revolution is March, mid March, late March. I can't really. I think mid.
I think it's mid March. I think it's the 16th, if I'm not mistaken, of March.
Okay, so yeah, so
I don't
Double or
have it in
Nothing
front of
will
me, but I do.
probably be mid April,
Yeah.
best guess. So what?
Dude,
Statlander won the title.
so you're looking for Mercedes
I'm
Monet and
thinking long
Statlander.
term.
No,
I'm
but I'm not saying
thinking
you're
kind of
initially you're thinking when Mercedes comes back, she needs to go after Chris Statlander.
yeah, the one title she has not won because I think in this time away she's going to lose a lot more of those titles. So when she comes back, she's not going to just be desperate for gold. She's going to be desperate for top gold. And I think it's going to drive her
But
to.
you but you see it as Chris Statlander. See, I don't want to see Chris Statlander and Mercedes Monet. I don't want Mercedes Monet to take a sabbatical or hiatus or whatever you want to call it of any length and come back and pick up right where she left off. That to me is boring. I want something else. I want somebody else to call her out.
So, so
Let's go,
she's
Barry. What do you go? Go ahead.
yeah, so she's going with Beast Mordos on a little celebratory vacation. The Esquire, Beast Mordos Esquire now, right? Because he graduated law school.
I believe his title is officially Beast Mordos. Beast Mordos. Rawr.
Raw attorney at
Yeah.
law. So I thought when she said time away, I thought literally until this segment that they were just going on vacation for a couple weeks to celebrate. It wasn't until you started talking, I was like, oh, maybe she is going to take some actual time off. But I'm kind of with you, Kelson. I would like her to do something different. I think there's some interesting talent on TV that I'd like to see her mix it up with that she hasn't had a chance to cross paths with. While she's out, I would love to see someone like Red Velvet or um, Athena take some of that airtime, especially Red Velvet. I'm really high on her. She's really pretty. She's got a good move set. She's got a lot of charisma. I think she's somebody that deserves another shot on the big shows. But yeah, I'm with you. I'd like to see her when she comes back work with somebody new, at least out of the gate for a short term program for sure.
What about anybody looking for somebody new, a debut, to take up some not necessarily become a title contender, but take up some time. Look, AEW was revealed, I think about 2 months ago that AEW signed Lena Cross. Today it was revealed by Fightful that AEW was signed Tatovic, uh, an indie veteran, really good, smooth wrestler. If you're not familiar with her, with good size, supermodel looks with good size. Um, Very smooth, as I said. Could this be the time to bring back somebody like Hikaru Shida, uh, Emi Sakura, even Britt Baker? This would be an optimal time to bring. If you're going to do something with Britt, this would be the time to do it. And again,
Yeah.
you have Todovic, you have Lena Cross, you've got different women that are available. This is the time maybe to give, hey, Maya World and Hyann get a couple of impressive wins. Do you actually bring back somebody that is in AEW that hasn't wrestled as much? For example, Anna Jay, get her contract status straightened out and bring her back and make her a player in the grand scope of AEW's fortunes. Look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's great that AEW has a very good women's division, but if you're just going to run the same stories with the same women over and over again, it's going to get boring. I mean, how long has the Triangle of Madness been feuding with another person that I left out, Queen Aminata, and the conglomeration, and whatever. I mean, it's been since like September. It's going to be February soon. 5 months is too long for a story that has absolutely no resolution in sight. So you've got to wrap it up, in my opinion.
I
I really
I
think.
think
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead,
I
MK. I
think
want you to go.
I, I really think it's time to let Megan Bain step up. She has proven herself a good heel, uh, a good worker. She's put over a lot of people, and I think I really want to see her beat Willow myself. But just those type of wrestlers who haven't got a chance. But Megan Bain, Thekla is one I think could use a title. She's a great talker. She's done a lot of stuff. So they just need to really come out with find new wrestlers because the youth movement needs to move up a little bit, in my opinion.
Megan taking
No,
that title from Willow, I think is a really good call, MK. I think that would be a
I
really
like
smart
it.
move too.
I like it.
Yeah, if there's
yeah.
somebody to take it,
Other,
that makes sense. And I think the fans, I think, would cheer her as a champion in a way that is similar to some of the other folks we were talking about earlier. Like, it would not be hard for her to be a face either, or just a tweener that doesn't need to cheat to win, just beats people up like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, she's been doing a bunch of really cute stuff with Penelope on social media.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Anyway,
think we
anyway,
talked
that's a
about.
that's a smart call,
Uh,
MK. Is my point. I want to give you props for that. That's a smart call.
Go ahead, Chris.
yeah, I think we talked about that last week, Megan Bain. Like when we were mentioning challenges for Willow. Who could take that title if it is a oh god, now I forget the term. Like the champion who doesn't last. Transitional. If this is a
Right.
transitional reign, yeah, I think we talked about Megan Bain would be the perfect person to take the title off of Willow. Um, the, I think the division as a whole right now, the problem is there is a ton of talent, but there is a wide gap in the general perception of talent. You've got, Willow, Statlander, uh, Tekla, Mercedes. They're the tippy top of the division. And then you've got like Harley, Sisters of Sin, Jamie Hayter, Queen Aminata right there kind of behind them. But then it's kind of like, okay, the rest of them are, you know, not super important. Like if we see them, we kind of know who's winning, who's losing. Like I think that you have to kind of they need to build up more talent. And Mercedes being gone, if it's the
It
perfect time to use her
right.
usual TV time to do
It's
that.
an opportunity. It's an opportunity. Take it.
Because there's not one talent who can. I mean, maybe if Hikaru Shida or Britt Baker were to come back, they could kind of be seen at that level. But outside them, there's no one wrestler who can fill that TV time and be as effective. So use it to build up the rest of the division.
Yeah. Hey, Kelson, I think that I've got a good segue into the next segment that picks up where we're leaving off here. If you want to move on to that.
Well, I do want to make a couple points, but
Yeah.
then I'll go back to you. Alex Windsor just spent about 2 or 3 weeks in Stardom, which I think is very beneficial to Alex Windsor. Because look, my point that I'm making here is that we have in AEW a lot of women in the locker room that are doing nothing. They're literally not doing anything. Again, Anna Jay being one of them, Tay Mello being another one, Taya Valkyrie really not doing much in ROH or AEW. Uh, get them, send them over to the Stardom or on the indies or something. Get them out there and have them wrestling. That's how you get better. You don't get better by sitting in the locker room. Now, I'm speaking, of course, out of complete ignorance because I don't know what they're doing in the locker room. They could be wrestling their asses off in training and stuff like that. They could be going to the NJPW dojo for all I know. But my point is it's as we said earlier, opportunities. Chris brought that up. If you got an opportunity to have them wrestle, get them out there and have them wrestle. Because I want to see more of the women wrestle in AEW. The point I'm making here, and I think this is something that I'll bring up in the next segment. So I'm going to let Barry bring us into the next segment. Barry, I'm going to let you bring us into the next segment.
Yeah, I've been sitting here blabbing to myself, doing the meme. Did I come off mute? So you were hitting on it too here. Part of building up more women is TV time, and they're given one or two segments a show, and it's difficult. So AEW recently has been doing more mixed gender matches, and it is a roundabout way to feature more women on television. Now, in general, I'm not a big fan of intergender matches because it just makes me uncomfortable. It has to be the right type of people, and I think AEW generally has picked the right time or right kind of performers where I've enjoyed the matches they've done. But even if I don't, I do think it's a really good way to get more women on TV. And you're starting to see more of the female performers involved in some of the male stables. I think it's done wonders for Marina Shafir, having her with the Death Riders. You're seeing Tony Storm interacting with the conglomeration. I think it's only a matter of time before Don Callis adds a female member to that roster. It's been needed for a while now. All of the mixed tags. You've got Top Flight now added. I forgot the new performer's name since Layla's out. The new signee,
Top flight is Skyflight, and
Skyflight, and
that's Zeta Steel.
Zeta Steel. Getting more on TV and outside of just a valet role. Well, the easiest way to do that, mixed tag matches. So I thought that was an interesting way to move into this topic, and interested to hear what others think about that.
I do want to point out one thing before others make their point here. In the last couple of months, I went and looked at it last night actually. In the last couple of months, AEW really hasn't had that many uh, one-on-one women's matches. Uh, five to be exact. You had in recent, well, Marina Shafir and Mina Shirakawa, Mina Shirakawa and Lady Frost have went at it this week. But there's really not been anything other than Willow and Mercedes Monet that went 15 minutes. Some of these matches have been 5 minutes or even squashes. A lot of the time that AEW is doing the women's wrestling, presenting women's wrestling, it's either been in these intergender or mixed gender matches or just those gigantic 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5, 20-on-20, you know, I think AEW, I'm kind of with Barry. I don't necessarily like mixed gender matches. They do make me a little bit uncomfortable as well. But I think AEW needs to get back to girls grappling and not boys and girls grappling. That's
Yeah.
just my opinion.
I don't mind it. Uh, I think the way they do it is unique because you don't really see any power moves. being put on the male. The men aren't doing any power moves on the females. They're not doing the finishers. They're not doing that. They're doing hits and tacks and stuff like that. I think that's a way to do it. But a lot of these people, like Statlander, have a history, and Megan Bain and stuff have a history of fighting against men. But I'm with you guys. It does make me a little uncomfortable, but I'm glad they say that they do it in a way that's better and more palatable.
I think they've done a good job in the matches they've had. Like, I don't fear Marina Shafir squaring off against somebody because I know she legit knows how to handle herself and she's presented that way. Statlander, same thing. Jamie Hayter, same thing. Megan Bain, Willow, those are women that in real life I believe could probably handle themselves enough, right? So that's most of who they've done it with. And they've been pretty smart on most of the spots too, but I just, I couldn't see a Julia Hart up against Moxley or something like that. That's the kind of stuff that I don't
Yeah,
think they'd
but
ever do that. But like, that's where there's just matchups where it can just pull you out of a fun match real quick sometimes.
even back in the day when China was in the WWF WWE, I forget who it was. I want to say it was Stone Cold Steve Austin did an interview about China wrestling in the ring with men, and they were like she couldn't hang. I mean, and the thing
It
is,
was
if you can't,
Jericho.
it was
Jericho, yeah.
Jericho. Okay, I forget who it
It,
was,
it
but
might have been Austin too.
yeah,
To be
yeah, could
fair,
have, could have been. But my point is that that's how injuries happen. And I'm not saying if you're
Yeah.
trying not to hurt somebody, you're risking getting hurt yourself. I don't. Here's the other thing that I wanted to bring up. When I read, and I forget where I read it, but I know that I've seen it a couple times. When AEW when there was rumblings about AEW actually developing a women's world tag team championship, there were also rumblings about a mixed gender championship. I hope they don't go that way. I sincerely hope they don't go that way. It would kind of be a laughing stock kind of thing. We don't need a mixed gender matches. We need better men's matches and we need better women's matches. And when I say by better, I mean matches that mean something, that have story behind them and have a build.
May I say something?
You may.
I am with the abs with basically I'm the only woman in the room here right now. I love it.
Basically,
Basically.
Barry, you try to. Is there something about you we don't know?
It's none of your business.
Go ahead, Jess.
Yeah, only woman in the room right now. I'm not uncomfortable with it at all. I've believed for a long time, like before AEW even existed, that intergender wrestling was the wave of the future. It was happening all the time on the indies. And I thought it was like really exciting. I believe if a woman is willing to mix it up with a guy, more power to her. And she shouldn't be belittled, or neither should the guy, for having a match.
No,
You know who?
I'm not saying that.
I never said you were. But I am saying, you know who likes to poo poo the idea of women's wrestling? Women's wrestling.
Don't say that name on this podcast. I'll boot you.
Well, I will just say a certain lifetime achievement shut the hell up award winner
There you go. Yeah.
cannot
Is
stand
it
the
just
idea of
so that we're
intergender
clear?
wrestling.
Is this this person's name has anything to do with the way um, MJF eats corn the long way? I think we all know who you're talking about. Yeah, we're not. I don't want to cheapen this podcast by even mentioning
okay,
that
back
name.
on topic. Back on topic. Back on topic. I completely agree with Jess. I am not uncomfortable with it. I think if hey, it's two competitors signing up to compete, and and because we all know wrestling is scripted, so
Yeah.
and that the wrestlers work together. So when you think about that, it becomes a lot less like, oh, I don't know about this. Like in real life, like if it was a straight up fight, yeah, I'd probably feel pretty uncomfortable about it. But it's scripted entertainment. They're working together. So that kind of you have to remember that and like you're watching for entertainment. If you want to watch real fights, watch the UFC. Like pro wrestling is not for real fights. It's for entertaining, simulated fights with crazy over the top moves that no one would ever do in real life.
Yeah, but that's kind of my point, Chris, is that if you're going to do something uh, as I don't even know the word I'm looking for. If you're going to do something like putting in a mixed gender, championship, then you're going to have more mixed gender matches. And I just feel that if you're going to have a lot of mixed gender matches, it's going to reveal some weaknesses. Uh, I mean, are the women just going to be because they're not going to be able to body slam most of the women on the roster? I don't believe are going to be able. I mean, is Rio going to be able to body slam Kazuchika Okada? Is
No, but she
I'm
can't body slam Nyla Rose either.
exactly. But my point
So she
is
works
that
around her limitations in a match
yeah,
against that.
but
Like,
but
Exactly.
but again, but when you have somebody like Nyla Rose, you're also looking at somebody who hasn't been on TV for a while.
Hmm.
Why? Because there's limitations there. Um, I really do
I
believe that. That's nothing against Nyla Rose. All I'm saying is I don't want to see a bunch of matches where the end move is a woman kicking Roderick Strong, Marina Shafir kicking Roderick Strong in the nuts. I don't want to see
hmm
that. I want to see wrestling. And the more you
Yeah,
put these matches out, the more you're going to see the limitations of what the women can do to men in the ring and what the men can do to women in the ring because you're not going to have violence, men on women violence. I'm sorry, you're not going to have
yeah.
that.
It's an
It's
optics
not going to
thing.
go over well. It's not going to go over well.
I,
It,
Yeah.
I will
I'm
say I
sorry.
don't want those. I don't want those titles to be a thing either. I don't want like every show to have a intergender match. I'm simply saying that if the right story presents itself, I would have no issue with a Chris Statlander versus MJF match, a
Yeah,
hmm
Tony
Well, they had that
Storm
before,
versus John Moxley match.
but it's
yeah, but
optics, I think.
yeah. If you look at Ring of Honor and you look at AEW, it's clear. It's clear as Barry brought up earlier. You have Zeta Steel with Skyflight. You've got Lacey Lane now with the Crew. You've got Taya Valkyrie with MXM Collection. You've got Willow, of course, and Willow and Statlander have at times been with the conglomeration, but now that they have belts, it's now Tony Storm really with the conglomeration, and to a lesser extent, maybe Mina Shirakawa. You've got a lot of women, and you've got a lot of mixed tag teams in AEW, which is not a bad thing. I'm just saying you can't overdo it, and you certainly can't come up with a belt because I just don't think that it will be. And it would be a mistake simply because I want to see women. I enjoy women wrestling, actual women wrestling. Adding something like this would just take away from the women's storylines, women's matches, and women's titles.
But if I
And
may counterpoint, you've said many, many times that small, petite Joshi women could easily kick your butt.
that's
What?
right, but because
But I
I'm
But
not
wouldn't
a
want to watch it
wrestler,
on TV.
small petite women, small petite Joshi women could easily kick my butt and Eddie Kingston's butt because neither one of us can wrestle.
hey, that was unnecessary.
The truth hurts.
Pot shot.
I don't think they need
Yeah,
He
I
those
mean,
kind of
I'm
couldn't.
sure you
titles.
could wrestle if you wanted to.
I'd pay to see it.
Okay,
Anyway,
well,
my point was, if you believe a small petite Joshi woman could easily kick your butt, why couldn't a small petite Joshi woman easily kick anyone's butt?
I understand what you're saying there, Jess, and I do agree with you. Riho or really anybody from Stardom, these small petite Joshi women, they could kick my butt. They could kick, but they're not going to be able to do. Why would you want to see that on a weekly basis or
Mm-mm,
because it's
bi-weekly
exactly.
basis?
awesome.
No, I, don't-
It's
I disagree.
not.
It's
I'd
not. It's not what
rather
people want to
I'd
see.
I'd rather see the small petite Joshi women from Stardom beat the crap, or vice versa, the AEW would beat the crap out of the small petite Joshi women from Stardom. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see wasted space. And frankly, mixed gender matches to me are a waste of time. They're a novelty match. They are a novelty match. There's no place for them in a long storyline where you have not just, I mean, don't get me wrong, a long storyline with a couple of teams is fine. But if you have all these teams that AEW and Ring of Honor have, and they're going to be building a mixed gender championship story. To me, that's taking away from what the women and both the men and the women are doing on the more important titles.
I feel
You
like
know,
maybe you're getting stuck on that title thing and thinking like us saying we want to see intergender matches, meaning we want to see that title happen, which is absolutely not the case for me. I'm simply saying I don't mind those kinds of matches like you guys do, like they don't make me uncomfortable. I don't want to see them every week, but I don't dislike them when they happen, and if it gets more people, especially more women's wrestlers on TV, I am all for it.
I don't think. I think you're in the You guys are in the minority. I don't think number one, the network doesn't want to see that. I don't. I'm pretty sure, and I don't think a lot of other fans do. I wouldn't want to go to a show and watch that match. It's just not something. If that was on a paper, if it was on a pay per view, I wouldn't watch it or a TV show. It's just not something I want to see because it's limited moves. It belongs on the indies and it's been done on the indies, but I just don't see it on major network television.
Kelson, you used the term novelty match earlier, and I think that's where this needs to sit. There's a lot of different match types, and it's not wrong if anybody likes those. I don't really care for the hardcore plunder matches, but they do them because a lot of people like them, and they can be fun. But they don't need a title for that. They can just do it, and I think that's kind of where this should live, is just as a novelty. If you've got two factions feuding with each other and they have female members, you can run it that way, so it makes sense because it's two things feuding. But as far as a division or a regular thing, it needs to stay. When they do it, it should be special.
yeah, that's exactly my point. I mean, if you could do it where there's a story behind it and it's special, but if you try to do it where there's actually stakes behind it, like a titles, then you're just taking away from men's and women's matches. You know, I I just don't like it.
Honestly, I swore that we were going to end up seeing Mina versus Orange until Orange pulled a Tommy Dreamer. I'll take them both. I'm whatever.
Yeah, and of course, the biggest mystery of all, and this is probably going to be something, it's a kafabe, is who gave Mina Shirakawa those flowers. Stay tuned. I'm bringing that up, and it's a kafabe. Let's move on. Um, I know Barry, you had some stuff that you said about this on our Discord server. By the way, our Discord server, or link to our Discord server, is right there on your screen if you're watching this. Of course, right by Max Caster's head is the subreddit name. So please be sure to join us on Discord and join us on the AEW Fan Hub subreddit. But you've got you've got Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, formerly known as the Acclaimed, and they're starting to mesh. Do you think the Acclaimed are going to get back together? And if so, if they do get back together, do they need a big run, like a dominant run.
I think so. And do you know why?
I do
Because
not.
because everyone loves the acclaimed. Scissor me. I'm not going there again.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that again.
I I first off, the storyline's been awful. I just want to get that out there. They've just done a terrible job with it, and that's
Mm.
unfortunate because I think Max Caster's character is incredible. What he has done, I called it months ago that he'd get people chanting and he'd be a baby face, and that's what happened. I think his character's incredible. It will forever be stuck in the low mid card as a comedy act because that's the get. That's the gap. Um, so like I think the fans are ready to cheer him as a face. Bowen's this thing. I don't know if that just flopped is what they tried, but it wasn't working out. And so they got this storyline coming with them back together. And Bowens has been the one to refuse to do any of like the callback stuff. And I think on Collision in the six man, that was the first time he scissored since they broke up. Am I wrong about that?
I'm pretty sure you're right.
Okay. And if that happened, I think they're finally going to push fast forward and just wrap this thing up soon, get them back
Mm.
together. You know, I think keeping their characters where they're kind of an odd couple who hates each other could be interesting for a while, but still does the moves that everybody loves. But I think it's time to wrap this up and get them back together. And they're just not strong enough as singles competitors with what they tried.
I hate to
There,
say it. Sorry,
Uh,
go
go ahead.
ahead.
No,
I
go ahead, MK.
I hate to say it, but I think Anthony Bowens is the weak link, and he's not ready to go out on his own. I like the acclaim. I would. This is just me personally, but I would like to see a third person added to that. That's not Billy Gunn. Uh, Add a little bit more to that group so they can have a little bit more back and forth and have an in between person. But I just think that Anthony Bowens is not the superstar that AEW thought he was, and maybe they need to find a different route. I don't know.
See, I
The
totally
dreaded
disagree with
Genetti.
that. I think Anthony Bowens is fantastic. I'm not saying that he's better or worse than Max Caster. I think that Anthony Bowens is ready and he's been ready, and they just need to give him something to
I
do.
just I just don't think he has the same charisma as Max Caster.
Hmm. Okay, well, that's your
uh,
opinion's fair. Barry, I wanted to ask you something real quick. You said that, and part of my ignorance here, you said that
Mhm.
Max Caster and Anthony Bowen scissored. I tried to
No,
find it. I couldn't find it.
Bowen scissored in the six
no, no,
man.
he scissored with jet
Caster wasn't
speed.
in the match.
Okay, I asked Barry, and I can't understand
Yeah,
what two
no,
people are
no, no,
answering
no.
the question.
Bowens was
Okay.
in the six match. Caster wasn't in the match with them. I don't remember who the six man was. It was him and there was a
Jet
six
speed.
man on Collision. Jet Speed, that's right. And he took the pin. Yeah, so he scissored with Jet Speed. That was the first time he's done
Oh, he
that since they
scissored with
broke up.
jet speed. Okay,
Yeah.
because I couldn't remember.
He wouldn't do it
Uh,
anytime Max or anybody else asked, but he did it with Jet Speed.
okay, that makes sense then. Because I was specifically looking for Anthony Bowens and Max Caster scissoring. You know, and I can't believe that I'm saying this on a podcast. You know, I'm looking for Max Anthony Bowens and Max Caster scissoring. Okay, whatever.
Uh,
This on a different
Barry,
website.
I'm curious. Okay, I'm curious, Barry. Have you watched the like short deals they put on YouTube with these two, with the acclaim? Like, have you watched any of those?
No, I don't have enough time. Nor yeah.
Those are
They,
really good. Those are really good.
I've seen a few
yeah,
things,
those are very
here and there.
entertaining and have really,
Right.
those are
If it's
very
good
entertaining.
enough, it
They've
should be
added a
on
lot
TV
to their
though. Like
stories.
my take is
I
always if it's
I
important, it
completely
should be
agree
on
with you
TV.
there.
Okay, guys,
If
one
so,
person speak at a time, because I'm sure nobody can
You know,
understand anything that anybody is saying.
I
So
agree with you that if it is, it should be on TV. But I think for people who have watched those, the storyline is a lot more fun than people who don't see those, which we can get into the whole, okay, that's bad, it should be on TV, but you give people free content during the week, blah, blah, blah. I think that is the difference between enjoying the story and just kind of wanting to get it over, because those segments have really helped develop the whole thing with them to the point where, like, I'm ready to see them get back together. Like, you know, have a have one of those tag tournaments, like the one that we got the Brochachos from, and they end up teamed together and they win it, and it's a whole great woohoo, they're back together.
So Barry, you said that you had not really seen these backstage vignettes as much. Do you? But you have seen them. Do you think that these are something that should be on TV?
If it's central to the story, or it's a story that most people say is bad, but if people say, oh, but if you've seen the video stuff it's good, then I think that's a mistake. They should have that stuff on TV. There's a lot of creative stuff they do I've seen. I just don't have the time or the interest to want to find this stuff. If it's good, it should be on the TV show.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. What about everybody else? I mean, have you seen these vignettes that Bowens and Castor have done? And what do you think? Do they deserve to be on TV?
I have not, and yeah, they should be on TV. You shouldn't have to go like hunting down things that are important to the story.
They're very reminiscent of MJF and Adam Cole when they were first starting to get together. They're like team building exercises almost. Would that
Okay, I'm
would
sold.
that be would
Yeah.
that be a good Chris? Do you think that's a good description?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think that's a good description. I mean, like this last one had them setting up the ring and chairs and working the merch booth, and like, and it worked because it's like, oh, we found a rhythm. We figured out, he's good at this, I'm good at that, so we did that, and it kind of like was showing like we're not friends. Like they're still not buddies. They're not a team, but uh, Bowen said, I think I see him as an acquaintance. And Castor, because he is the kind of dickhead of the group, he's like, I don't hate his guts. Like that was the nicest thing he could say, where Bowen was like, yeah, an acquaintance. I do think they absolutely should be on TV. And I think they've shown like shorter edited versions, I think, on Collision of a couple of them.
Well. Unfortunately, Barry had to leave for work purposes. Um, but I want to move on to, I'm sure, what everybody has been waiting for. It's a kafabe.
It's a kafabe.
It's a kafabe. Does anybody have anything on the
It's a
kafabe part?
cafabe.
Does anybody have anything for kafabe?
Um, sure, I'll do the this is kind of a cafabe thing. January 19th, the New Japan Pro Wrestling Young Lion Cup returns with there are six competitors. Um, Shoma Kato and damn it, what is his first name?
So you
Uh,
have nothing prepared.
I I'm just drawing a blank. It, Marashima, the best young lion of them all, the big, big, beautiful boy. They both have a draw into the bye into the first round because they are the two most senior of the young lions. And the first round matches will take place on the 19th at Corkin Hall, and then semifinals, I believe, the next night at Corkin Hall again, and then I have to look to double check when the finals are. It may be at the New Beginning show in Osaka, which is the 11th of February, maybe, I think. Yeah, Young Lion Cup coming back. It's been gone for a few years.
Yeah. Well, I have something that I want to talk about, and it is a kafabe. it is a kafabi, but I'm on the verge of tears here because my I had fully intended on marrying Natsupoi when I grow up. But yesterday it was announced that she got married to Shingo Takagi. Uh,
Well, good for
so
her. Sad for you, though.
it's sad for me, but me being the shallow asshat that I am, I now have to find another petite Joshi wrestler to give my devotion for because I was very, very, very devoted to Natsupoi, but I will not impede on another man's love. So I'm going to be a man about this, and I'm going to step aside and let Natsupoi have her marriage to that little whatever he is, But I've
Rampage
got
Dragon.
yeah, I don't care. I mean, he does nothing for me. He's no Takeshita. I'm sorry, but I mean, I kind of it's not too soon either. I mean, she just became unavailable yesterday, but I'm already looking. I mean, I'm. Does anybody here know if Soriano is single?
I'm not sure, but
I
I
don't know.
do think I have a suggestion for you. The cutest wrestler in the whole wide world for you to adore. Speedball Mike Bailey.
I know Speedball Mike Bailey is not a Joshi petite Joshi woman. I'm sorry. I
But he's
mean,
really cute and he's small.
But he's also married.
Uh,
yeah, and he is married, and I want to pete on another woman. Even if I swung that way, I would not impede on another woman's man. So, but I don't swing that way. So it is very important to me that I find a petite Joshi women's wrestler, which Mike Bailey is not one. Besides, I could never get past the mouthpiece that he wears. It looks like he has chiclets in his mouth. Uh,
you
but
I
you
and
can
figured
go
it.
with
worse,
Maki
I figured it
Ito.
would be the mullet more than
no,
anything.
I like Maki Ito, but I couldn't handle Maki Ito. I mean, nobody can handle Maki Ito. Uh, and
Uh,
you know,
I have a suggestion.
go for it. I need for
Saya
you
Ida.
guys to find the love of my life. I need
Starlight
you.
Kid.
Saya Ida.
I, Saya Ida, no, Saya Ida is not my type. She's that is a woman that scares the death out of me. Because I mean,
Mozilla.
Bozilla. By the
Nope,
way,
that's new
Bozilla.
too.
I hope she's doing well. She did get injured the other night. Looks like a leg injury, possibly a knee injury. She's already been. Stardom has also already announced that she's not going to be on their forthcoming show, so she is injured. Starlight Kid, she looks kind of cute, but I have to see her face. She's got to unmask for me. And the other
Don't you
thing
want a little
about
mystery in your life?
No, but the other thing about Starlight Kid, see, the reason I said sorry anew and that's a point is because they're in their 30s. I want somebody in their 30s. I don't want somebody in their 20s. I mean, come on. I mean, if you saw me, I need somebody who's in their 30s because that means that their eyesight's probably failing and I'll look better to them.
Kelson's weird, but he's not that weird.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to go for because there's some cuties. There's some cuties in uh in Stardom that are much too young, and Starlight Kid is one of them. Bringing up Starlight Kid, it's kind of a funny story that I saw just this week because she was asked in an interview who she would like to wrestle because she did mention in this interview that she wanted to come and wrestle overseas, meaning in the United States. And she was asked, who would you like to wrestle in the United States? And kind of in a roundabout way, she said, Io Sky. Now, she went on to say that she wrestled Io Sky before, but Io Sky was very, very young when they wrestled before. And I'm thinking to myself, huh. So I actually went and looked it up. The first time that Starlight Kid and Io Sky wrestled was on January 3rd, 2016. Was in a, I think it was like in a 4-on-4 tag match, 3-on-3 tag match, and they were on opposite sides. Of course, Io Sky at that time, uh, this was not a Stardom match, but at the time she was going by the name Io Shirai. And Io Sky at that point of that match was 25 years old, which is young. Yeah, you know, she was young. But the thing that killed me about it was when Starlight Kid says that Io Shirai was young when they wrestled. When they wrestled that match, Starlight Kid was 14. Right now, Starlight Kid isn't as old as Io Shirai was when they wrestled that match. She's still only 24. So I just thought that that was kind of funny that you would say, "Oh, Io Shirai was very young." I was like, "No, you were very young." So anyway, does anybody else have
Well,
a?
but I,
Go ahead,
I
Chris.
do. Real quick. Oh, go ahead.
I think on that both had only been wrestling for a few years. Like Starlight Kid started crazy young, where Io Sky didn't start till she was a little bit older. So I think that's probably more what she meant by young. Like both of them were young
Like
in their
experience wise.
wrestling.
I mean, yeah.
Exactly. Like,
If you look at Stardom, I mean, you've got uh, Starlight Kid who's 24, Azumi who's I think 23. I think she's a little bit younger than Starlight Kid. They basically started at the same time. Rena and Hina are only 18. I think it's to
and they've been wrestling like 4 years
yeah, and
already.
Azusa Adaba's 18. They've got a lot of wrestlers who are very young who already have 100, 200 matches under their belt. I mean, go look. Starlight Kid is 24, and go look on how many matches she's wrestled in her career. She's
Oh,
wrestled more
it's
matches than
insane.
yeah. It's like she's wrestled more matches in her career. I guarantee you, she's wrestled more matches in her career at 24 than I don't know Tony Storm has wrestled in her
Yeah,
career.
well, that's a big thing with just Japanese wrestling in general.
It's
They
insane.
maintain a pretty hard schedule because they do all those tours. It's like they may, there may only be one televised event for the week, and it may only be tour highlights, but they're doing four, sometimes five shows in
You
a week.
want to
It's a
spend some
crazy
good
schedule.
you want to spend some good money, go on Stardom World, which is Stardom's streaming service, and it costs I believe it's $6.99 a month, somewhere around there, for the service. And my God, every week you get like so many matches because it's like every other day they're wrestling. I mean, it's just unbelievable. MK, you had a it's a kafabe. I'm sorry, I almost said
Yes,
potpourri. It's a kafabe.
it's Kafabe. Yeah. I want to number one real quick say congratulations to used to be Jake something on becoming all elite, and it's now Jake
Oh yeah.
Doyle. Doyle rules. As I joked last week on the thread. But my main topic is congratulations to the Young Bucks for getting that pop of when they were Jack Perry's tag tag team partners. They got that pop that they deserve, and they're back. And it's good to
I
see that they can
squealed.
go from heel to face quickly, and they're accepted as it. It worked. Their plan worked.
Yeah, that was good and made Jess squeal. This is what you said, right?
Yes, I squealed in delight. I'm like, oh my god, it's not Nicholas and Matthew, it's Matt and Nick. They're back.
Was it a kafabi
It
squeal
was
or
a
was it?
kafabe.
It was a kafabi. Um, I mentioned this earlier. Um, Kind of fun. We saw Mina Shirakawa get flowers delivered to her. Who do you think delivered those flowers to Mina Shirakawa? Did she send them to
Wait,
herself?
did those jerks forget the cards I wrote?
Oh, no, there
I'm
was no
kidding.
card.
I
There was
no,
no
though
card.
I would.
There was no card.
Dang.
Nobody has an idea of who's. Some people
Right.
have said that it was Orange Cassidy.
It's Tony Schiavone.
Oh yeah, somebody did also say "damn you, Tony Schiavone." Yeah, I think I did see
I
that.
don't, I don't see Orange Cassidy sending flowers.
That takes too much effort.
I just, you know
You
what?
know?
I think it was Wheeler Yuta, and he's
Ooh,
doing
that's a
it
good
to
one.
get in their heads because he's a devious little shithead.
That could be.
Yeah, so that's my
Regardless,
pick.
regardless. I mean, Tony, and I have to say something. Mina Shirakawa posted pictures of her holding the flowers, which I then took. as- I downloaded the picture, and I posted it on the AEW Fan Hub subreddit. And AEW Fan Hub subreddit did not remove the picture. Nothing to do with the AEW Fan Hub subreddit, but Reddit, as I think I mentioned a few weeks ago, has this thing where you could post a picture of Mina Shirakawa's eyeballs, and they find it too sexual. So, and they mark it NSF, and they remove it. I actually got to post a picture of Mina Shirakawa that wasn't removed by Reddit. So yay me. She's impossible.
Woohoo!
Kafabe.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
So does
to
anybody
be
else
fair, I mean,
does anybody else have a kafabe?
I do. I actually
Go.
thought of something.
You thought of something. Go ahead.
Okay, so one of my favorite wrestlers of all time is Raven. Love Raven. Raven is great. Um, I actually received for Christmas from my husband, who always gets me the best presents, a copy of Raven's documentary that just came out fairly recently.
This is
If
on
you,
video
yeah,
or
it's
what?
it's on DVD. It's called Nevermore. Um,
Well, that's
please watch
clever.
this. Please watch this if you can. It's so good. You will laugh. You will cry. You will look at your favorite wrestlers from the era in a whole different light.
Have you seen his interview with Scott Van Fleet?
I have not. I should.
He did one. It's pretty good. He talks about how he came up with the idea of Raven and some other stuff.
Yeah, he gets into that a little bit in the documentary as well. Like he talks about like some of his like most famous storylines, what ECW was really like. To which case, that does not to spoil, I'll say I both really want and do not really want to be part of it. In retrospect, it looked like a whole lot of fun, but terrible for you.
Ah, well.
But
Was this
yeah, I've
Ravens?
heard the same thing. Like,
hmm?
Hello.
But yeah,
I
if you
I know, Chris, you had something to say and then you stopped.
oh no, no, I was just saying, like, I've heard kind of the same thing. Like other ECW people mention like what it was backstage, and it's like, yeah, it's one of those deals. It's like, man, that sounds fun. It also sounds like there's about a 75% chance of death.
yeah, there's a 100% chance you'll have a good time, but also also like an 85% chance you'll die.
Yeah.
It's that sort of experience from the looks of
Well.
it. But yeah,
Oh,
highly recommend the documentary if you.
so you're a part of Ravens flock, put it that way.
Indeed, I am.
Okay.
I've yeah, huge fan of his for a very long time. I still believe that Raven versus Tommy Dreamer is one of the best wrestling feuds of all time.
Yeah, that was a good one, to be honest with you. I actually like Ravens' work in WCW as well. Very moody, very brooding.
I prefer him more in WCW with his flock and the way he just lean against the ropes and do his thing. That's the best Raven for me.
All right. Does anybody else have a potpourri? It's a kafabe?
Kafabe.
It's a kafabe. All right, then we'll call this a night. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitch or X, we will be back on Tuesday night at 8:45 Eastern Time. Don't forget tomorrow night AEW Dynamite Maximum Carnage. It's my daughter's going to that. It's actually a double taping, so she gets a Dynamite and a Collision all in one night. So
Woohoo!
it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun. I'm interested to see what happens. Uh, and we will talk about it, I'm sure, because there's probably going to be a lot of stories being built over the next few weeks because we're AEW's headed to Sydney soon, and then of course Revolution in March. So the stories are got to be built. It just remains to be seen who's going to challenge Chris Statlander. Who's going to challenge Willow Nightingale both for the TBS and the women's tag team championships. You've got everything is up in the air. Who's challenging Mark Briscoe for the TNT championship? Who's going after the world championship? I mean, there's nothing really up. I mean, we've got Bandito versus MJF tomorrow night, but I don't think anybody really expects Bandito to win the championship tomorrow night. But maybe they'll build a story toward future battles between these two. Everything is up in the air in AEW right now. They've got to start wrapping it up, as far as wrapping up storylines to make these pay-per-view buys, strong. So anyway, we will see you next Tuesday night, 8:45 Eastern Time here on YouTube, X, and on Twitch. And of course, in a few hours after we wrap up this show, we'll get the show um, onto Spotify and Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, etc. So you can listen to it if you prefer the audio version only. All right, then, for the AW Fan Hub podcast team, this is Kelson. Good night, Eddie Kingston.